stuff like that. But you can, it's kind of like the same thing, but maybe like 10 times more severe. The girl's family in India will never be able to offer the girl's hand again in marriage. It's kind of like she's already out of the list. Like nobody would want to marry her and stuff like that. It's a lot to do with respect. Like saving face, it's a lot to do with that. So you normally in India, like the girl will try very hard not to get, yeah.
So you agree with this?
Yeah, there was no agree disagree.
So if you are, or say that if you really want to get her heart, will you do that or try hard to not get?
See, first I would think really hard if I want to marry the girl. I wouldn't just marry. Like, well, according to Indian customs, it's a bit strange because like the son is supposed to look after the parents, right? If the son leaves the parents and goes and buys another house, that's also now very shameful, right? So now you have to see the scenarios like the son is there, the parents are there, and then the girl's there. So the son actually has to think very, very, seriously. What if the girl comes in and she's not really compatible with the parents, not compatible with people? She gets angry very fast, or something like that. Or in the other way around, the girl has to realize that I'm going to go into the family, that his parents are going to be there. Obviously privacy will be given, but then it might not be. There are other things, like every time like there's somebody in your house. So it's a lot to do with that. So I would probably think twice. And if I did get married, I would definitely try and work it out. Not because I have to, but it's also like you have to see the girl's point of view and the girl's parents. Like after getting divorced, for me as a guy, as a male, it's easy for me to get married again. But then the girl is not she's gonna have a tough time. So you have to think about everything. So it's a whole lot of thinking process.
I have a question. You said that female once they marry and divorce, they are difficult to get married again. This is about
Not really. It's just that the whole concept of marriage is pretty heavy in India. Like it's very sacred. Like during the ceremony, actually, we have to pray to the fire of God and everything, and do you swear. Like it's pretty similar to the Christian marriage, and then you vow that you're never going to do that. So basically, I would think twice about marrying a divorcee because she was already committed to another guy, right? And that didn't work out. And I don't know the whole story about that part. So now, if I want to get married to her, like I don't know if her previous marriage didn't work because of her or because of the guy. Like now, again, it goes back to the same thing because my parents are there. So she doesn't need to keep me happy only. She needs to appease everyone else. Like I need to appease everyone, like my wife, my parents. She has to do the same thing, unfortunately. So that's what I would think about.
I know that in India, when people decide to get married, women have to afford all the bill for wedding.
But in China, we usually marry publicly. So why is that traditional?
Actually, the concept of that whole thing is very genuine, but nowadays it's not. In certain parts, it's not, because again in India there's a big span. Like there's educated, and then there's not so educated, and then there's uneducated. And similarly, economics-wise, you have the haves and the have-nots. So you have like the lower class, the middle class, the upper middle class, and the upper class. So you have a lot of things. And basically, the tradition comes from the fact that the father gives the daughter everything, like for example fridge and car and everything, so that she can use that later so that the whole family is happy. So the father of the girl is trying to provide for the girl's whole family as a father, not because the guy is demanding that. Okay, that was the original tradition. Okay, but now what happened is the guy decided to demand. Like, I need a car, I need a fridge, I need 2 aircons and stuff like that. It's literally like that, you know? Like, especially in like the rural areas, like girls get beaten, they get burnt because their father couldn't provide them with whatever. So, it's called the dowry system.
You have mentioned that in India that is divided to some upper class and upper middle. Is it the Indian caste system that has been abolished for more than 60 years?
Well, we still have the caste system actually. Yeah.
But I heard that before
you are not defined by your caste, but then you would still know what caste you are because of the name.
So is this equal to racial discrimination or class
do you
discrimination?
think that it will harm some people's rights? For example, the lower class cannot marry with the upper middle class.
It's very interesting because you said if it's gonna harm the lower class, but actually now there's a lot of protests and people are defying the law because the upper class now says that everything is going to the lower class and we are not getting anything. For example, if you go to a university, there'll be like out of let's say 30 seats, okay, 15 will be given to the lower class. So those 15, the upper and the upper middle, whoever is not lower class cannot apply for that. And if you look at it, the lower caste, not many people are studying because they don't have the means or whatever. So the few who are studying, they get the seats even if they're like, oh, I feel like going to college, and they get it. Whereas the other like 15, the upper middle and the upper class, all those are really competing to get into the college. They don't get. They have to settle for second best. So there's a lot of debate going on regarding that. That's how actually it's the other way around now. It's all the other classes who are not lower class are feeling the pressure.
Can you give some more examples other than
getting into the parliamentary system? There are separate seats for the SC/ST. It's called Scheduled Caste, Scheduled Tribe. They are the lower class, right? So they have their own seats where they don't really have to work that much. But then the other few seats where everybody's very ambitious, upper middle, and everybody's very ambitious, they want to get into the system and everything. They really have to work double, A very good example actually would be in the science department, like to be a doctor. I because my friend is a doctor and he's not the lower caste, and he used to say that like there were 5 seats out of the 30 seats, 5 or 10 or something like that was given to the lower caste, and the rest were all the other